Alrighty guys, welcome back to Star Wars Review. Today I'm going to be doing a review of Star Wars The Mandalorian Season 2 from showrunner Jon Favreau, and also written by him. But Dave Filoni and Rick Famuyiwa also wrote an episode each this season. But the episodes were directed by Jon Favreau, Peyton Reed, Bryce Dallas Howard, Carl Weathers, Dave Filoni, Robert Rodriguez, and Rick Famuyiwa. And it stars Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian / Din Djarin. So yeah, I thought the season was a solid one. I think I like season 1 more. I wouldn't say by much, but I, still think I liked season 1 more. I obviously would still need to rewatch both of them to really decide. It's very close on which one I like more. Yeah, I guess I just, had a few more bigger complaints for season 2 than I did season 1. I guess first, the action. I'm not a big action guy, so it's probably one of the reasons why I like stuff more for the characters, the story and the themes and messages of the story of the movie / series. But the action, was definitely good action, but I don't know, it got a little too repetitive for me, I guess, because every single episode had a lot of action, and there, not enough times where the episode's a bit slower, more about the characters and whatnot, which is something you can do in TV, and when you have, you're not, constrained by a 2 to 3 hour runtime of a movie. You can do a bit more with the characters in TV, but they, series is still very action heavy, so yeah. But also, just then, he has the best car armor and can take shots, so kind of like there's some moments where it's like, I know he's gonna get out of this perfectly fine, so it's whatever. When he's facing bigger enemies like the Crate Dragon in the first episode, and the spiders in the second episode, and then in the season finale when he's playing the Dark Troopers, they, obviously give him more trouble, more stakes to the action. I do like those moments. The Dark Troopers, I do felt like, well, he only faced one, so yeah, kind of had trouble, but then once he figured out how to do it seemed pretty easy. But yeah, and obviously the Crate Dragon and the spiders were just because they're, the Crate Dragon is because it's huge, and the spiders is because there's a lot of them and a big one. So, and it just was him, the child, and Frog Lady. So yeah, but obviously stormtroopers and other random grunts, that's a problem in general, Star Wars, and they're useless. So yeah, but when it happens a lot in one thing, I guess it just starts to feel a little repetitive. But that's really my biggest complaint, is that for the season was the action being a little too repetitive. When Din wasn't involved in the action, I really liked it. But when he was around, it was like, he's gonna take the shots and be fine. Because, I was joking about the stormtroopers always missing, but with him, they always land the shots, but it doesn't matter, so yeah. But I guess I'll, just jump into the story, which I guess I'll recap it real quick. So, it's about Din starting to look for, a Jedi, and he starts it off by first looking for other Mandalorians to help him, which first he meets a man named Cobb Vanth on Tatooine, who isn't Mandalorian, but is wearing Boba Fett's armor, which, he helps him out with the Great Dragon and gives him Boba's armor. But then, his trail goes cold, but he meets a frog lady, with the help of Pelimoto, the owner of the landing place. I don't know exactly what her title is. But Frog Lady says, she knows where there's Mandalorians on the planet Trask. Or was it Trask? Was that the name of the planet? I think it was. But she needs Din's help to get her there without hyperspace. But along the way, Din gets into trouble from two New Republic pilots named Carson Teva and Trapper Wolf, who eventually let him go. But then once on Trask, Din meets the other Mandalorians, one of which is Bo-Katan, who is the heir to the throne of Mandalore, and she's the sister of Duchess Satine, the former leader during the Clone Wars. But Bo-Katan leads Din to a Jedi named Ahsoka Tano. But before Din goes and meets Ahsoka, he has to make a pit stop at Navarro to fix up the Razor Crest and reunite with Cara Dune and Greef Karga. Which on Navarro, he helps them out with a leftover Imperial base from Gideon's Imperial remnant by blowing it up. But once there, they learn that Moff Gideon is still alive and still hunting the child, trying to clone it and whatnot. So Din leaves immediately and heads to Corvus to meet Ahsoka Tano, who reveals that the child's name is Grogu, and that, Grogu was part of the Jedi Order on Coruscant before Order 66, but was taken into hiding soon after Order 66. And Din asks Ahsoka to train Grogu, but she refuses and tells Din to take Grogu to Tython and place him on the Seeing Stone, and there Grogu will reach out and try to find another remaining Jedi. Which once there, Grogu does that. But, while he's doing that, the Slave One comes into orbit and lands near the stone, and Boba Fett comes out, and Din confronts him, but, all Boba wants is his armor, and also reveals that Fennec Shand is still alive and helping him out. But before anything can really go down there, some of Moff Gideon's Imperial remnant comes, and his cruiser too, which leads to a big battle with some stormtroopers and whatnot, and Boba recovering his armor, Grogu getting captured by some dark troopers, and the Razor Crest getting blown up. So, because of Boba requiring his armor, he says him and Fennec Shand will help Din out, which leads him back to Navarro, where Din gets the help of Cara Dune, now a Marshal of the New Republic, thanks to Carson Teva, who met with them there and talked to Cara Dune. But, Din asks her for help to free Mayfeld from a New Republic prison, which then they go there, and Cara, takes him, but, what Din needs him for is some Imperial codes or something to locate Gideon's cruiser, which, Mayfeld agrees to help him out and gives him a location to this Imperial refinery. And then once there, Din and Mayfeld go on a mission to infiltrate the refinery. But it leads to Din revealing his face because Mayfeld doesn't want to get caught by his old commanding officer. But it doesn't matter anyways, because it leads to a confrontation between them, which leads Mayfeld to kill him, the Imperial officer. But, they eventually escape the refinery and blow it up. And, then Din and Cara let Mayfeld free. But then they start their plan to attack Gideon's cruiser, which they enlist the help of Bo-Katan and her other Mandalorian friend Ahsoka Reeves, which first they capture Dr. Pershing in a Imperial Lambda cruiser, which then they take that Lambda cruiser and go into hyperspace to the location of Moff Gideon's cruiser, where Bo-Katan, Cara Dune, Fennec Shand, and Ahsoka Reeves, and then board. Those four go to the bridge, while Din goes and takes care of the Dark Troopers and rescues Grogu. He has a little confrontation with a Dark Trooper, but he, beats the Dark Trooper. But then, in the room they're in, he's able to open the door and suck them out into space. But then he goes to the sub where Grogu is at, but Moff Gideon is there and not at the bridge, which is what Bo-Katan wanted. And so then Gideon and Din battle it out, and Din wins, taking the Darksaber and Grogu and Gideon to the bridge. But once at the bridge, Din tries to give Bo-Katan the Darksaber back, but she doesn't take it, and Gideon reveals that it needs to be won in combat. But before anything can happen there, the Dark Troopers all fly back into the cruiser, and it looks like, there's not much hope left. But an X-Wing flies into the hangar of the cruiser, and it's a Jedi with a black robe and green lightsaber who destroys all the Dark Troopers and heads into the bridge, where he reveals himself, and it's none other than Luke Skywalker, who's there to take Grogu, and he asks Din if he can, and Din, allows him, says his final goodbyes, and then Luke, and Grogu and R2-D2 is also there, and they leave, and that's where it ends. And there's also a post-credit scene showing Boba Fett and Fennec Shand going into Jabba's palace and killing Bib Fortuna, and Boba taking the throne, which is a tease for the Book of Boba Fett, the next live-action Star Wars Disney Plus series and spin-off to The Mandalorian. But yeah, the story was solid. I'll say could be a bit repetitive here and there, and a bit too convenient at times. By repetitive, I mean every single episode was Din, needing help from someone, but he has to, help them first before they help him. It's happened several times, or it's like, this is the same general thing over and over again. And, it's a bit convenient that the Mandalorians he runs into is Bo-Katan, and obviously the end of Luke Skywalker is very convenient, showing him out of nowhere, but that stuff can be a bit nitpicky of me. It worked, so with Bo-Katan, I didn't really like Luke Skywalker, but I don't want to go on and on about that. But yeah, other than that, I thought it was a solid story. When Grogu gets captured, I did kind of think Din was kind of being a little bit of an idiot, but yeah, but the thing I loved about the series the most was the characters, and definitely Din and Grogu's relationship. Seeing it grow even more, and then become more father and son. I really, really, really love that about this season. It was my favorite thing. I love the ending scene where, Din takes his helmet off and says goodbye to Grogu. But, I still wanted more out of their, relationship. It's still wanted it to be the heart of the series, I guess. But, it isn't, and it might even be for the better, so, yeah. Having something else be the main drive more about the Mandalorians, reclaiming Mandalore and whatnot. But, this season we saw a bunch of other characters, some from season 1 of The Mandalorian, some from other Star Wars stories, and some new characters. Not a lot of new characters though, but we saw some other Mandalorians, like Bo-Katan and Boba Fett, who I liked how they, definitely Bo-Katan challenged Din's view on what a Mandalorian is. I really like that. So yeah, and Boba Fett, I was happy that they made Jango a Mandalorian foundling. So yeah, and then Ahsoka in live action was great. And she's obviously there to move Din's quest forward and reveal more about Grogu, and kind of as a backdoor pilot to her own series. And Boba Fett was kind of like that too, but yeah, I like seeing her. Interested to see where her story will go in her series. So yeah. And then a few characters from season 1, Grief Karga. I really like seeing him back. Wish he was in more. He was obviously only in one episode this season. But then again, I guess there just might not be enough for him to really do anymore for the series. And then Cara Dune was fine. So yeah, Fennec Shand, who was in chapter 5, she, at the end there was the tease, what ended up being Boba Fett tease, with her. So she's back. Obviously, she doesn't have a lot of screen time, and most of it's actions, and there's really not. She's not a super deep character, but I do like her, and excited to see her more character development in the Book of Boba Fett, and she's also going to be in the Bad Batch. So yeah. And then Moff Gideon, this season, I was honestly kind of disappointed in him. It feels like he lost so easily. Makes him feel like a schmuck a bit, but I was losing to Darksaber. I kind of lost it on purpose to Din, so there'd be infighting between Din and Bo-Katan. But yeah, I really liked him in season 1. I was excited to see him grow as a villain, but I don't know, probably didn't happen. Yeah, and then two characters I really liked this season. One was from a previous Star story. One was a brand new character, but those were Cobb Vanth and Frog Lady. Mainly just because they're both simple people trying to make their way in the galaxy, or line from Boba and Jango. Simple. These two characters are a lot more, simple people, but just because of that, they're two characters who I just thought were instantly relatable. Cobb Vanth just trying to do what's best for his town and, his people and not. And Frog Lady just want to reunite with her husband so they can, start their family, and then she has to deal with some bullshit from Din and Grogu. Yeah. Cobb Vanth wouldn't have to deal with too much bullshit from Din and Grogu, so yeah. Didn't get him in trouble with stuff he wouldn't even have to deal with otherwise. So yeah. And yeah, there's always some other returning characters like Pelimoto, and Mithril, and Mayfeld, and they are all fine. And then there's one new character, one of the best ever, playing Sabacc, and honestly probably one of the best Sabacc players in all of Star Wars. Would have won the Falcon from Lando. That was none other than Dr. Mandible, an all-time new great Star Wars character. So yeah, obviously it's a bit of a joke, but yeah. Also, I forgot to write this down at all. There's a New Republic pilots, mainly Captain Carson Teva. I enjoyed his moments. Obviously, he doesn't really have much, but yeah. And obviously, there's Trapper Wolf, the pilot played by Dave Filoni. So yeah. But yeah, and anyways, the characters, I do wish we had some more deeper character moments with the characters outside of Din and Grogu. Because, I do really like the side characters of the show, but, does never have enough time in the show, mainly because, the episode structure being very episodic and whatnot. So, very, obviously, it's one branching storyline, was very, individual quest kind of each episode. So, most of the time there's different characters, except for Din and Grogu. I'll talk about that more in a moment. But, the score from Ludwig Göransson was once again, phenomenal. I really liked a lot of the new themes, and there's a few remixes of the main, Mandalorian theme, which were great. But, I really liked, I don't know, I forget what the names of them were, but there's, Cobb Vanth's theme and Bo-Katan's, and there's a remix of March of the Resistance, which was great, and obviously Ahsoka's theme, and yeah, not surprised there, that the score is great. So yeah, also, there's a few new planets and whatnot we see, which most of them are, just, Star Wars planets, and stuff like we saw in season 1 and Tatooine. So yeah, but there's one new planet in Corvus, which was the planet Ahsoka was on, which I really liked. That gave me cool samurai vibes. Which obviously samurai and western was an influence on George Lucas, and is a huge influence on this show. So yeah, but most of the time in Star Wars, as influences, the planets seem like they tend to lean more into Western and Samurai, so it's cool to see, heavily, a planet heavily inspired by, Samurai. So yeah, the season I did enjoy. I liked season 1 more, mainly because of I liked how more simple it was, and also from my main problem with the season is felt like it got a little too repetitive for me, mainly in the action. In season 1 I didn't feel that, so yeah. And like I said, I also enjoyed it for being more simple and whatnot, but obviously you can't keep a show being simple like this. You do need to make the story larger, so yeah. But yeah, just main problem was the action was repetitive, so yeah. And he said some of the story beats were a little repetitive too. But that was a big problem for me. And like I said earlier, the the episode structure. I don't know. It was something I was mostly fine with in season 1, but this season just didn't do it for me. I like normal shows, so you can get more out of all the characters. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of the individual quests. It's obviously one big, the story is branching, but I like it when, at the end of this season, end of last season, they got all the characters together. That's what I really like, and hopefully in later seasons they can do that more, but I doubt they would. So yeah, and also I wasn't the biggest fan of CGI Luke. I don't like CGI humans, even when it's de-aging. It's so kind of weird. And definitely on a TV budget too, it just doesn't look good at all. So yeah, I know lots of people didn't like it, so I don't want to ruin their parade. But yeah. Also, another big complaint I've seen is that there's a lot of fanfare in the season, which I do agree there is, but I don't think it's bad kind. It's not, Rise of Skywalker, where it just didn't make sense. Fanfare made sense to me for the story and whatnot. It wasn't oh, that makes absolutely no sense. Why did you put that in there? In Rogue One, when you see I'm blanking on their names, but the two dudes in the Mos Eisley Cantina, when they show up in Rogue One, it's like, why are they there? But yeah, someone kind of makes weird the timeline, but anyways, that's not important. So yeah, I didn't think the fanfare was a problem at all this season. So yeah, but anyways, my grade for season 2 is going to be B+, which I think was the same grading as season 1. But I like season 1 more. I wouldn't say by a lot more, but yeah. And like I said, I'm someone whose thoughts are always constantly changing, so I need to rewatch season 1 and season 2 together to really say which one I like more. But yeah. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this one. You could check out all my other Mandalorian season 2 reviews. And yeah, I did get a new microphone since doing those. I wanted to wait to do this review till I got a new microphone, so yeah. But I'll be doing a review of a Disney Gallery Mandalorian making of season 2. When that will be going up. I'm recording this currently on the 31st. I recorded the first half like 2 days ago. Now recording this. So yeah, very behind on videos. I need to get a few out. So I don't know when the Disney Gallery Mandalorian review will come out. I actually already recorded that. So yeah, this is probably going up today on the 31st. Later tonight, I'll have an end of the year channel update, and tomorrow I'll be doing a 2020 Star Wars recap, so you can check that out. So yeah, I'm rambling on now. I've been Sarzu, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Determine. The songs of eons past tell of battles between Mandalore the Great and an order of sorcerers called Jedi.
You expect me to search the galaxy and deliver this creature to a race of enemy sorcerers?